Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Zoe's Treasures. My name's Tracy, and I'm here with my husband, Noel. Hello, Mary. He is doing our graphics and our cameras as always. And today is our Friday business chat show. Hello, Millicent. Good morning. What a great start of the day. Tramelto, hello. We are going to talk about something that I think is really a good topic for us. But before we get in there, we're going to do our normal housekeeping stuff. Kind of give a little time for some people to get in here, then we'll jump into our topic. Graham's house, hello. Housekeeping stuff. So, first up, Battle of the Best is this weekend. I know I keep talking about it, but y'all, I've got the coolest item, and there's other people that I know have some cool stuff because I've been already placing pre-bids. So let me show you. I don't know if I have, oh, here it is right here. This is up for pre-bids already. It's up there. We have, look at this. It is a Wedgwood brooch. I know it's kind of hard to see from there. Good morning, Bumman with Nana. Oh, look at my husband has the other camera on, just like that. There we go. A Wedgwood brooch, sterling silver in the original box. How gorgeous is that? That is already up on my show for Sunday. 12:30 is the time. You can pre-bid on it if you like that beautiful piece there. Look at that original box, original paperwork back there too. Original paperwork, everything. All right, so that is coming up. Thank you for showing that, honey. That is coming up on Sunday. And then tomorrow we have our Elegant and Timeless. I finally went through last night, got all my photos done, got everything pre-listed. So everything you see behind me is going to be in tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. show. That is open for pre-bids also, if any of that interests you. If you guys like Jasperware, we got a whole bunch of that, all kinds of cool stuff. So that's the two big things that are coming up this weekend. And then let's talk about the email that came out really quick yesterday before we get into our main topic of the day. So I'm sure everybody saw it. I think I saw 4 separate chat shows last night already talking about the email. I don't care. I can care less about Premiere. Oh, thank you. I can care less about the whole Premiere status thing. But what I found was interesting on this email from Whatnot that came out yesterday is that everybody, good morning, Medic Girl. Everybody is going to have, everybody as far as all the sellers will be doing their own customer support as of September 1st. It's only a few short months away, so that's coming up very quickly. You guys, this is a good thing. I heard a seller talking yesterday, and I'm going to dive into a little bit about what the seller was saying because I think there was a lot of misconceptions out there. First of all, if you're a seller here and you already do your own customer support, throw something in the chat so I can see who we're talking to, kind of get an idea. Nobody, none of you are doing your own customer service. Good morning, Southern Charm. So kind of good to know. So this may be of interest to you. So when you, as of September 1st, you will be, if you're a seller, you will be having your own customer service. Some of the misconceptions I heard yesterday was people were talking about this. Did you want to say something? Go ahead, Southern. Good morning. Oh, Southern Charm. Good morning. Yes, you are doing your own. I know Southern Charm is. I don't know if I am or not. I'm brand new. Probably not. If you're brand new, probably not.
But if you decide you want to jump in, you can always request it prior to September 1st.
You can.
Good
so you
morning,
can request
everybody.
it early. So if you are doing it, you'll see it, you know, it comes up. There's a whole customer service panel in your seller hub. This is a really good thing. You got the email. The email came out around 12:30 Eastern time yesterday. What I want to say about it, what I heard yesterday was this is going to be so hard for the sellers, and this is just, this puts so much on the sellers. And I heard people saying that it was so bad for the buyers. First of all refunds, all of that stuff, anything going through customer service is still regulated by Whatnot. It still goes through Whatnot. I've been in the beta program for months now, like maybe 8 or 9 months, if not longer. I love the beta program. I love the customer service program. They finally made it like permanent for those of us already in it. It allows me as a seller to see every single claim that comes through. Is it more work for me? Not really. Why? Because if you're doing what you're supposed to as a seller, you're not going to have a lot more work. If you love it too, I love discounts, absolutely. If you're doing what you're supposed to. If you're shipping correctly, you're packing correctly, you're being honest about the condition of your items, you're not going to get a lot of returns or requests for refunds. So if you do, if something should happen to break, what should happen, and so here's kind of the part where all of you that are buyers come in. If you get something that is not as described or is broken when it comes in the mail, anybody else having shipping and video receipt issues lately? Oh, I don't know, Good Grabs. If you guys are, let Good Grabs know. I don't know. I haven't been having any issues. So if something happens like that and you're the buyer, the first thing you should do is reach out to the seller. Through DM the seller, give them a chance to apologize, acknowledge it, talk to you about it. Some sellers will try to handle a refund, a return, some resolution outside of the Whatnot system, whereas they'll say, hey, I'll give you a coupon or I'll PayPal you or whatever. I don't suggest that at all. That's up to everybody to do on their own. I highly discourage that practice. But you letting us know, oh, you're totally welcome, Robin. You letting us know about it gives us a chance to fix it if there's an error on our side, if we're doing something wrong. But then if you're in the customer service or when you get it on September 1st, the next step, what you have to tell the buyers to do is go to Whatnot, submit a claim. When they go to Whatnot, they go to their order and they, click on problem with the order or something, and they say what it is. That immediately gets messaged to you as the seller. So it goes through the Whatnot system and it is routed to you as the seller. Gives you a chance then to address it by offering a partial refund, which the buyer can then, so let's just say the buyer got something from me, there was a crack in it that I didn't disclose, I wasn't aware of it, they messaged me. I say, hey, I'm so sorry about that. Please go ahead and put in a claim through the Whatnot system. They put in a claim, Whatnot sends it to me. I can then hit offer partial refund, and I put the dollar amount I'm offering the buyer. That email goes to the buyer, or the DM goes to the buyer. The buyer has the chance then to say, yes, this is cool, I'll accept that, or no, I want a full refund. That message comes back to me. I, as a seller, then get to say, okay, I'll give you a full refund, you can keep the item, or, okay, I'll give you a full refund, but I want you to return the item to me. If I am asking you as a seller to return an item to me, I have to, as a seller, pay that return label. I click a button, I just press a little button, I can write you a message. Whatnot produces the label, takes it out of my ledger, sends it to the buyer packages up, ships me the item. The refund is then given when the item is received. Pretty simple, right? Nothing about that sounds complicated. It puts me in control. It allows me to ask questions before I even offer a refund. I can say, hey, can you send me a picture? Can you tell me what happened? If it's something that's broken the mail, there's also a little button that Whatnot gives me the option to say, can I put in a USPS claim? And then the claim stuff's automatically taken care of for you. There is really no extra work on the seller side when something happens besides a couple of, clicks of a button and sending an apology message that you should be sending anyways. So there's not a lot more work to do. What I heard yesterday, which I found very interesting, was somebody was saying that the buyer shouldn't have to return the items. That puts an undue burden on the buyer. I would love to hear from you guys. Do you feel as a buyer, if you got something and maybe it wasn't as described, thank you, Bummin with Nana. If you got something maybe not as described, or maybe there was a chip or a crack that we just didn't realize, and you contact the seller and the seller's like, sure, I'll give you a refund, but I want you to refund it. I want you to return it to me. Do you feel that puts an undue burden on you as the buyer to have to return it? That's my question, because this is what I kept hearing yesterday, and I was very surprised by the answers that I saw. Southern Charm, that was what I said yesterday. Okay, so I'm not crazy. Well, I think depends on the value of the item. Exactly, and I think as sellers, we take that into account. If I sell a $5 or $10 item, I'm probably not going to pay another $5 or $10 to have you ship it back to me. If it's a more valuable item, I probably am going to ask. If it's something that I think I can sell and recoup some of my money, I'm going to ask for it back. People return to Amazon all the time. That's it. And so it just blew my mind yesterday that there were so many people, and the person who was talking was Like, it's just an undue burden that now me as a buyer, I have to get a box and bubble wrap and I have to drive. And if I don't live by a post office, and I'm like, any online shopping, eBay, Amazon, any other, like Target, Nike, like all of these stores, any place that you would shop online, if you get an item that's not right for some reason, it came packaged somehow. You should already have it right there. And if you want to return it, you have to pack it up and return it. So this customer service that's going into effect for all of the sellers as of September 1st is not going to place an undue burden on buyers. And I wanted to squelch that misconception as fast as I possibly could, because I just heard this yesterday going around and I'm like, what in the world? Where is this coming from? Yeah, and Amazon almost always sends, and this is just it. The buyer doesn't have to, if I'm as a seller saying, hey, I need you to return that to me, I'm paying for the label. The label is sent to you, you print it, you stick it back on the box and you drop it off. You can even put it outside your door and go to USPS and have them pick it up. Yeah, right there, Southern Charm just said it. You can have them pick it up. So if you guys heard that, let's just spread the word that it's not an undue burden on the buyers, and it's really a great thing for the sellers, and it's also great for the sellers and buyers together because you can communicate with each other. This is going to stop a lot more of the instant refunds from Whatnot. We all know that if a seller's not in the customer service and you get something and you go straight to Whatnot, it's almost like an instant refund. That's not fair to the sellers. It is not right that if there's something that I could resell and recoup some of that money, as a seller, I should be able to do that. I think most sellers are going to be very, very logical on asking when or when not to return something. If it's a low value, I'm like, I'm not even going to waste my time, spending more money on a label. Just keep it. We also, one of the things I'm going to talk about today on increasing your live sale value is how we handle things like that. The more generous we are, the more trust we build with our buyers to begin with. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be better for everybody having this customer service. Yeah, and it helps it return it to the seller, not to Whatnot, so the seller can try to recoup their money. And Bumming with Nana, not that I've heard, is not going to change any time frames that I am aware of. And here's the thing, it is still regulated by Whatnot. If for some reason the buyer and the seller can't agree, I really think that's going to be far and few between. Then it can just be escalated to Whatnot. Whatnot takes care of it at that point. I'm 3 months in, and this is how it's already for me. Maybe vets are being grandfathered in. Possibly. I know it was about close to a year ago, we had the chance to opt into the beta program. And then whoa, what happened? Where'd I go? Thank you. He's over there pressing buttons again. Good morning, Lori. And now, since they're rolling it out, in the email it did say that you can request it. Probably pretty soon you'll see something in your Seller Hub where you can just request it if you want it before September 1st. It sounds like we already done in our customer service the last 28 years on other platforms. Exactly. There you go, right here. What do I do if I disagree with Whatnot's decision on an escalated request? So you could, there is a way that if you can't, this was the other thing I heard yesterday was, this is pitting seller against seller. This isn't fair to sellers, that now as a seller, you're going to have to go to another seller with a problem on the item. Well, yeah, because at that point, you're a buyer. You're not a seller. It makes no sense. Like, it's just business, you guys. We don't have to get all butthurt if something's wrong with an order. We apologize and we fix it and we move on. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, there's nothing to worry about. I love discounts. It does. It was a bunch of whining and complaining that I was hearing yesterday, and I was like, I'm tired of this. We're gonna put an end to this. We're gonna talk about how it really is. So there we go. Seller provided support, standard model. So there's some information. It's on help.whatnot if you guys want to read it. Yes, Ash and Guild. It will help cut down on the false returns. I've had a couple. In my time in the beta program, I've had probably 3 that were completely false. That they were just like, it wasn't my packaging, and I requested another picture. They just went away. They didn't send the picture. I had another one. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll give you a refund, but send that item back to me. They never sent the item back to me. So, and then they just go away. If I wasn't doing that, Whatnot would have just refunded them. It would have came out of my money, and that would have been the end of it. Exactly. So I wanted to talk about that. I'm not going into the Premiere stuff that changed yesterday. Honestly, I can care less about Premiere. I did a little math. Interesting enough, I will say a little something about it. I bought a whole bunch of dog treats from a seller that stated it was in date, and when I received it, they're often, yeah, and that's normal. And hopefully that seller was like, yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Sure, here's your money. And in a case like that, I wouldn't even ask for the money back. The seller said no. Oh, goodness gracious. So see, now that's bad customer service there. But then you escalate, and did Whatnot fix it for you? And the givey goblin complaints. Good. See, this is the thing. We're not, if we can't figure it out with like two grown adults with each other, then Whatnot will step in. I really think that's going to be the minimal. Most of us can act like mature grown adults. We can apologize when we're wrong. We can say we're sorry. We can give money back. We can be nice to each other. That's all it is. Changes to Premiere are, they took the quality listing thing away so they can do random polls. Here's the thing. I can care less about wings. They are just not all they're cracked up to be. You get your wings, you lose your wings, you get your wings, you lose them. I think it gives a worse perception. Good morning, Shop Happy. I think it gives a far worse perception of this got my wings, lost my wings, got my wings thing than it does just to do your business. Just do you sell your stuff. I did a little bit of math because one of the things you'll hear is, oh, well, you get 10% discount on your fees. That means your fees go from 8% to 7.2%. When I did the math on that, so to get Premiere, you have to sell 50,000 a month or 50,000 in a 3-month period. So let's just say that's 200,000 a year minimum that you have to sell in order to keep wings for a year's time period. On $200,000 of sale, that was, oh goodness, $133 savings a month in fees. $133. That's not a whole lot savings in fees on $200,000. $133 a month is all you're saving in fees. It's not huge. It's not enough for me to be like, oh, I got to go chase these stupid wings. Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you have it, wonderful. If you don't have it, it's okay too. It doesn't mean you're a bad seller. It's okay. They're just, to me, I don't know. They're not the thing. If you have it, wonderful. If you don't, you're still great. Being Premiere is the best benefit I've experienced is being able to chat with a live person and location on the app, but the money isn't worth it. So I would probably agree that maybe a little bit better customer service would be a good benefit. That would probably be the one thing that I'm like, yeah, okay, I really like a little bit better customer service. But all in all, Whatnot should be doing better customer service to everybody across the board, period. Not just the money makers, not just people making $50,000 a quarter. Whatnot should be providing good customer service to all of us. So while I agree that that's probably the best benefit of that whole thing, I don't think it's the fairest benefit at all because we all still pay fees. So, all right, that's that. I didn't want to spend the whole show talking about that. But those are the changes. And I know everybody, this was like all over last night since that email came out. What I do want to talk about today, though, is increasing your average live sale. Let's run some giveaways throughout the day, too. Let me get one going. We are doing our standard CEO affirmation little packets here with the vintage postcard. That's our giveaways today. All right. So increasing your average live sale. That is what we are going to talk about for the next, 2 hours, I guess, till about 9 o'clock. This does not mean pressuring people to spend more money. We are not talking pressure at all. We're talking true strategy. How do we increase the amount of money we are getting? Average order value. So your AOV, when you take the total dollar amount divided by the number of items you sold, gets your average order value. Oh, Meta Girl, I'm so glad you like it. Thank you. So it does mean, so to increase your average live sale, it does mean creating a show environment where buyers naturally see more value. That's what we're trying to do. Just yell it up to the chat. Yeah, just yell at your chat. We're going to talk about that. Bid it up, bid it up. That's what you need to do. Give me more money. No, we are not talking that. Good morning, the polished picker. We are talking about creating an environment that the value is highlighted naturally. How do we do that? We're going to dive into a bunch of different ideas. Please feel free. I need bids or we're shutting it down. Please feel free to put ideas in the chat as we're talking here. I love to hear what you guys have to say too. And it's really beneficial for everybody else that's here to hear a lot of ideas, not just my ideas. One of the things I see, I need to pay my rent. Yeah, I need to pay my rent, bid it up. So one of the things I see is people are super focused on getting people in their show. That's not the end all be all. You don't need a lot of people in your show to increase your average order value. The bigger opportunity is to increase the value that each buyer has in their own right. So increasing the value of the buyers that are there is far more important than getting more people in your room. Y'all are sleeping. There you go. Yes. Oh, I hate that one. So we're not talking about, oh, bookmark my shows, come in my room. I need 100 people in order to make money. No, we're talking about, my husband's giving me the look like, we don't want bookmarks. I'm not saying we don't want bookmarks. What I'm saying is, he's giving me that look like, what are you saying? What I'm talking about is having more value for the buyers that are there. If they see the value, they spend more money. That's what increases your average order value. So how do we increase the value? Let's go through some ideas. I'll run this when we hit 200 Y's in the chat. Oh my gosh, is that not the worst thing ever? You're just waiting and you're like, just run the damn thing. Just run it. Like, we're going to bid on it anyways. Don't make me type a Y in the chat for you to run something. Like, seriously. Now, I get if you're introducing a product and you're not sure how it's going to go over, maybe you're selling jewelry and you're going to switch from pendants to rings and you're like, is anybody interested in rings at all? And you're trying to gauge the room. I get that. Like on that gorgeous swan bow behind you. You like that? Which one? This big one here? Oh, look at that one. Look at that guy. Is this the one you're talking about, Ranchan Finds? This is a blue stamp Lenox. This is an old Lenox. Check that out. Is that gorgeous? It's going to be tomorrow. It's already open for pre-bids, y'all. All right. Let's get back to what I was saying. On top. Which one? Oh, yeah, that one. That is crystal up there. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? Double-headed swan. Yes, that's one of my favorites for tomorrow. Why to increase it? I think they do type the Y to increase the algorithm. It is an engagement feature. It just drives me crazy. That one drives me nuts. But let's talk about some real good ideas on how we can increase our average order value. First one, bundles and sets. I've said this a million times. Dollar starts and pre-listing. There you go, Daisy Lane. I am with you all the way. Right there, I would vouch for it any single day. Dollar starts and pre-listing. But I know everybody's not ready for dollar starts. I know it's not everybody's thing. So I'm going to go with some other ideas. Forgotten memories. Yeah, you ask where people are from just to get the chat going. Bundles and sets. How many times do you see a seller, and there's some big popular sellers that do this, will take a set and divide it up. 2 pictures that belong together. What are you doing? He's trying to tell me something. I can't. Y'all, his hand signals are going to drive me insane, and we just started the show. He's saying, you break up sets. I don't break up sets as much. Ranchan Finds, you got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I know, he has words. He needs to use his big boy words. He has a dry erase marker. He doesn't use it. Okay, how many times? Let me give you an example.
You're trying to take away my fun. Come on, it's early morning. I need to have my fun.
I'm going to show you an example. We have 2 gorgeous frames here. They match. They go together. Why would I sell one and then the other? Sell them together. The value is higher. You will get more money doing this than you will doing this and then this. Doing some bundles tonight, Lafala feels nuts here. Normal on static sites. Exactly. Don't break things up as much as you can. Keep pairs together. Keep like items together.
Ask her about the butterfly ones.
Okay, the butterflies aren't a set. The more you keep things together, the easier it is to increase your average order value.
Good morning, Aaron.
A bundle. Bundles help people think this is a better deal, right? Would you guys rather have 2 cups or 1 cup and then another cup? Look, it's other terms like what butterflies. All right, let's see. I'll let you guys decide. These were going to be separate because I purchased them separate. I will put them together tomorrow. I will change my listing. Here we go. We'll show you over here. I will change my listing and put these together to prove my point tomorrow. Okay? So they are 2 trinket dishes with the same type of butterfly. Okay. My husband was getting on me because I did put those separate, and he's like, well, look what you're talking about. The colors are gorgeous on there, yeah, and they're super delicate porcelain butterflies.
So Happy says sell them at a set.
But Southern Charm says do individual. I have them listed individually. My husband told last night, he's like, no, you got to do them as a set. What are you talking about tomorrow? And I felt that those 2 were distinctly separate pieces, that they weren't a set. Yes, one's a basket and one's a lidded trinket dish. That's kind of why I didn't think they were a set.
Ash says individual.
But
Dumbing, separate. Wow.
oh, see, a lot of people are going with my way on this one. However, when we're talking about bundles and sets, if things naturally belong together,
I
keep
know,
them
Chef
together.
Happy. I know.
Separate the. Oh, and even I Love Discounts, I'll tell you what, you guys, the bundles and the sets, I Love Discounts got on me for months about this until I started changing my thinking about it. They got on me for months. They're like, Tracy, why are you separating that? Why are you separating that piece? That goes with this. Don't separate it. Have you ever seen sellers separate a sugar and a creamer that match? Why? They're a set. If they belong together, keep them together. They increase the value. As a buyer, do you want to buy a creamer? Just say you're into sugar and creamers. Just pretend that that's your collectible, right? Do you want to buy the creamer and have a chance of being outbid on the sugar bowl? No, you want to get both of them together. It increases the value to buy both of them together. It's always photos or candlesticks or something that really obvious that are supposed to be together. It makes me nuts when exactly.
Good morning, Tober.
But people do it. Hello, Tober. People do it all the time. Be different. Stand against the crowd. You'll increase your average order value because your buyers will appreciate the fact that you're keeping things together. I think they're thinking more of getting 2. They're thinking of getting 2 sales. But at the same time, you're cutting your own throat with that thinking. Where if you put it together, you're going to get a higher sale than trying to sell them individually. Because people who want both are going to be afraid that they're going to get outbid on one. So I'm not even going to go for one because I might win one, but if I don't win the other, it's useless to me. So if I can't get them together, I'm not even going to try to bet on them at all. That's a very common train of thought. Yeah, you don't buy a sandwich in pieces. I love it. So how about things that you could put together as a gift? You can use this as a gift. I used this example in the show the other day. You can have a coffee mug. I can sell you a coffee mug. This is wonderful. What's your opinion on saucers or plates when everyone is buying plate wall items? Should I poll the group first? So, Cracker Jack, interesting question that you asked me that because I sell quite a bit of china actually. I found if it's a plate that I don't have like a full set for, I don't have a lot of matching pieces, individually, certain plates, duck plates, there's certain ones that really are like gallery wall pieces. Forgotten Memories, you got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
However, if it's china items, I have done far better with selling a full place setting. So selling a plate, a saucer, a bowl, a teacup saucer. Like if I can have 4 or 5 piece setting, for me, that is always done far better than trying to sell plates and trying to sell something else. I'm new here and juggling too many jobs, so I have to go for now. Oh, well, thank you for being here. We are on YouTube also, so if you like what you heard and you want to watch it later, you can always check us out on YouTube. We do multicast. So, think about gift giving too. And some of this is you're gonna have to alter it for your category or what you're selling. But I can have a coffee cup. Cool, it's a coffee cup. I can have a candlestick. That's cool. If I take a coffee cup, a candlestick, and a tea bag and I put it in a pretty basket, now you have a gift package. Now you have something of value that people would bid up far more than they would a single candlestick, a single mug, and they're obviously not going to buy like a packet of tea probably, right? So think about how you can take bits and pieces and put them together as gift baskets. That's another type of a bundle that you can do for little odds and ends that you may have. And it will definitely increase the value more. Yeah, exactly. It's the vignette shows. 100%. Bundles, we storm the corporate thrifts at midnight. Bring your picture. There we go. Bundles work for the convenience value for people too. Again, I go back to if you have two pictures that match each other, it's convenient to buy both instead of not maybe missing one. It also connects the dots for people. If I were, oh, congratulations, Livy. That is so wonderful. If the more you can connect the dots for people with bundling, if you take something that fits together, let's see if I can find something. Let me show you something. Here's connecting the dots for people. This is a napkin holder with 4 butter pats. I could sell you a napkin holder. Yes, go ahead. Oh, that's all right. I'll just show it like this. I'm fine. I can show you I can sell you just a napkin holder, and I can sell you just butter pats. But if I put them together, now I'm giving you the idea of a really cool way to style your butter pats. And this increases the value because you're getting a whole set ready just to pop in someplace in your house for decor. This is more valuable than this, or just the holder itself. Absolutely ask a tax question. $80 minimum right there. That's right. So it's about helping your buyers see the value. I cannot find butter pats out in the wild. Well, I have quite a few butter pats tomorrow. If you are interested, go check them out. Oh, my husband found these ones. He's like, show these ones because he found them, y'all. This wasn't supposed to be a show and tell this morning, but he found these, so he's very excited about this one. Oh, look at he's like, oh, you got to go to the other camera. Let's see, where are we? There we go. Look at that. How beautiful. It's a little, there was a little repair that's a little wonky, but look at how thick and chunky those are. Gorgeous butter pats and a little gold colored holder. Absolutely beautiful. He found those. He was very excited about that. We actually found those when we were sourcing with Southern Charm. So, okay. So bundles, sets, keep them together. Think about this. When you go into a store, think about a retail store. You know I love me a good retail store analogy here. Battle of the Best is Sunday, Forgotten Memories. I'm on at 12:30. Anybody who's here, if you are in Battle of the Best, feel free to put your items in there, what you're selling, because I know we have some fire items on Battle of the Best. Off the top of my head, I Love Discounts is in Battle of the Best, Southern Charm, Lori Can Shop. I know for sure those 3 people are in Battle of the Best. But I don't know everybody. So if you're in it, put what you're selling. Think about when you go into a store. Can you put a link? I don't know if we can put a link to it. I have it. If you go into look under my shows, you can see my shows. Also, if you do a search under shows, just type Battle of the Best, you'll see everybody's shows. Let me try this again. When you go into a retail store and you see a display, you see a model there, you know, the mannequin. They have on the dress, the shoes, the purse, right? When you go to Target, what do you see right now at Target? You see bathing suits the minute you walk in, and you're hitting that women's section first thing, right? There's the bathing suits, the cover-ups, and cute little beach bags to go with it. They're giving you styling ideas. This is the same thing we should be doing here on Whatnot.
I was just going to say that Southern Charm has that 1920s Hamilton, but you're gonna have to fight me for it.
Robin Rusty Relics, you got that giveaway. Congratulations. Is that 2 today?
Congratulations.
Your lucky day? There you go. Good grabs. I sell the clothes and jewelry off the mannequin almost every show because people see the value in the full piece together. You help them connect the dots. So that's what we're talking about, is connecting the dots. So What are some ideas that we can do this? Bundle slower moving items with a stronger item. If you got something that you know goes really well, add something else to it. Adding more. Green 13 does this all the time. He'll start throwing comic books down or jewelry down or, anything in a pile. And then he's like, all right, keep bidding it up. And the more it bids, the more he throws on that pile. And then the people who are bidding, the more they see that pile growing, the more that those bid prices increase. So the stronger you can make the package, the higher your average order value will be. Create themed sets. It doesn't have to be 2 pictures that match each other. What can you put together that's a theme? What couple of items can you look? If you have 100 items that you're going to sell that day, can you pick 3 or 4 that's a theme and offer those together? Try it once or twice to see if you feel that you're getting more money from those items than selling them individually. And then we already talked about gift baskets. So think about gift baskets. So what are some of the other things you can think of? And we're thinking bundles and sets. Items that match by color. Maybe we're creating a book stack with something on top of the books. Instead of just selling a book, we're going to put maybe a red, white, and blue book together with a little flag on top or something for 4th of July. So start thinking instant decor for people. Make it easy for them to picture this in their house. What items match by theme? How about items that solve the buyer's need? I like what Good Grab said. You have jewelry and you have a piece of clothing. That solves a need, right? It's a need because it's a full outfit. You have everything already there for you. I can buy the earrings, I can buy the necklace, I can get the dress, and I'm good to go for a night out on the town, right? I don't have to do it myself. You're creating value. Saving buyers time is creating value for them. And what items are stronger together than alone? That's when we go back to a china set. If you're selling a whole place setting, a place setting is far more valuable than just a bowl, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with putting some of that in your bin because people might want replacement pieces or they want, an odd piece here or there. But what items would be stronger together than they would apart? So that's a whole bunch about sets and bundles. That's the first idea, and that's probably one of the strongest ways to increase your average order value. And this works. You guys, everything I'm going to tell you, I have been putting into practice over the last few months. This isn't a magic formula like you're going to try it once and you're all of a sudden going to make all this more money. It takes a little bit of time like anything else in life, right? But it does work. I have almost doubled my average order value by putting these practices in place over the last couple of months. I'm not going to call the person out, but I had a person who shopped with me regularly and they said, I don't buy from you as much anymore, not because I don't like your stuff, but because your prices have gone up. I do dollar starts. It's the average order value that has gone up by doing a lot of what I'm talking about today. So the next thing, presentation matters. Presentation affects perceived value, without a doubt. 100%, the way you present that item is going to affect the way the people who are watching you perceive the value of that item. So the way you're showing it changes the way, let me just say this in a different fashion. The way I show you an item could totally affect the way that you're seeing the value in it. Am I helping you invoke a memory? Thank you, Southern Charm. Am I helping you invoke a memory? Am I telling a story about it? Am I helping you connect to that item emotionally? The wrinkles are free today. There you go. So we want to show things in a way that helps the buyer understand its condition, its use, the style, and the value. So we're explaining all of it. Remember, we are the feel, the taste, the sound, the smell. All buyers have on this app are your eyes, right? Whatever description you write and what they see. That's all they get here. They may get a little bit of sound, but how many times do we know people will have the sound off? A lot of people watch at work with the sound off. Clean items. I mean, the way you present it, if I give you a clean item or a dirty item, first of all, if you see a dirty item, a clean hen on the nest, and I literally just washed a hen on the nest this morning, the one that's back here. I washed it this morning because my husband said it has a little bit of dirt on it. It's not clean enough to sell. Who's going to win this? Melly.
Congratulations. Melly?
We're going to say Melly because I couldn't read the whole name. Melissa? Was it Melissa Marie? Congratulations. I'm slaughtering your name, and I do apologize, but I really do appreciate you being here. Thank you. So I cleaned the hen on the nest this morning. If you see a dirty hen on the nest or a clean hen on the nest, the first thing with the dirty thing you're going to think is, I got to wash that. Instantly, the value goes down. Dirt doesn't scream, pay me more money. It just doesn't. So, I mean, and that's common sense, but you'll see a lot of it here. And I've even joked about it. I see, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, he's driving me nuts, y'all. Can I like pawn off a husband for the morning? He's made me lose my train of thought. A dirty hen sounds like a euphemism. It kind of does. Aaron says, don't sell me the clothes off your bed. Exactly. What does Livy say? Livy Will says, speaking of appearance, anyone else struggling with a new photo uploading? I can't change cover pic without deleting all of them. Oh, Livy, it's always been that way for me. I didn't know that was new. I can never change my cover pic without like deleting everything and re-importing it all. Yeah. Okay, good. So we're on the same page. Everybody else is like, yeah, that's happening too. So presentation is far more than just holding up an item, right? We can't just do this. I'm always surprised at some of the sellers that do the items really fast. Like they hold it up, vintage decor, and they're like, and then they run it. Yeah, it's the worst. Your shop for tomorrow. Oh, well, thank you, Ranchan Vines. I appreciate that.
Millie, why you want to take away my fun?
Presentation includes, so let's think about our presentation. If you want to increase your average order value, you've got to think about all of this. It's the whole package. Lighting. Can they see it? Sometimes our lights are too bright and they wash the item out, and you'll hear me say, hey, our lights are a little bright here. The item looks washed out, which is my clue to my husband, fix the lights. I'm basically saying fix the lights in a very nice, polite way while people are watching me on camera, right? Do you ever do your analysis on paying for marketing in the app? I did Bumming with Nana, and I found it a complete waste of money. Just very sum it up short, complete waste of money. There was not enough data to back up any of the claims that they were making. You couldn't, there was just no data behind any of the numbers. So I am a trust but verify, and I couldn't verify anything, so I felt that all the numbers were incorrect. So lighting, camera angles. How many times do we see sellers, I think we just talked about this on Wednesday, holding things way up here. The camera's up here and they're going like this. Or they're holding it down here in the chat. All right, so your camera angles, it's going to affect your price that you get. Your background. Your background is going to affect your price. I know people are going to say, oh, it doesn't matter. If you're selling something and all I see is your nasty bed, like Aaron said, I ain't buying that stuff. And I'm sure not paying top dollar for it. And is working and whatnot. The proof is because empty profiles as the traffic. Yeah, visual and is working to whatnot with proof. Exactly. The promotions, the promotions aren't worth it, you guys. I'm just saying, if you want to do it. That's on you. But I highly, off topic a bit, we're going to talk about promotions. I highly encourage you to dig into those numbers, and you will see that those numbers are falsified. They're counting double people. They're counting people that are already your customers. There was not enough proof there that you were bringing me any value for the money that I was putting out. Boosting in a show. When someone boosts a show, seems to be getting more visibility. Birdie's Boutiques, I respectfully and kindly, I think boosting is no different than the promotions. I just don't think either one of them, whatnot, cannot give me enough information, enough verification and valid data to show me that it's worth it.
So the question is not whether they expose your show to other people, is how many of those people are actually going to become a buyer for you. And if you can translate that into a buyer, the information that it's provided, it doesn't correlate to what's happening. And so until that information is actually something that is useful, you are just throwing darts in the dark.
Yep.
And you don't know, hoping that one of the darts is going to hit.
And I'll say one quick statistic about that really convinced me of this. There is plenty, but there's one really put the nail in the coffin. Is they will tell you how many impressions you get. And on one of the promotions, I did 3 intentionally, 1 on accident because I forgot to turn it off, of promoted shows. And they, on one of them, said I got 4,300 and something impressions, which means that's how many people they put your show in front of. There wasn't even 4,000 people in the vintage decor, antique, or estate category at that time. So they can't even tell me who they're showing my show to. If you're showing my show of vintage decor to people who are interested in cards, it doesn't matter. That's not my demographic. That's not who my customer is. So I'm paying for useless impressions. But they can't even tell you who they're showing it to. So that was the one that put the nail in the coffin for me. But let's go back to how to increase your average order value. Your background. Your background is important. This sets the vibe, sets the mood for your show. Do you want your show to be bargain basement deals, or do you want your show to be elevated high value? Okay, are you shopping at Dollar General, or are you shopping at Louis Vuitton? You get to figure out what your vibe is, and your vibe will affect the price of your items. I've done $5 Boost News, Whatnot Boost Credit, but when I was brand new, I think it helped, but now no. Yeah, I would probably agree. And when you're brand new, Whatnot tends to boost you up anyways when you're brand new. So think about your background. Think about the lighting, the camera angles. All of that adds to whatever it is you're trying to sell. Your background says it all. Glassaholic. So there you go. You should obviously have some of your stuff for people to see, keep them interested. Are you shopping at I Love Discounts or Zoe's Treasures? No, you guys have a great show. I'm not getting down at anybody's show, but yeah, there are teasers in your background. But think about that you're creating. I always say this, you have this box and this is the experience that you're giving somebody. It could be a bargain experience, but when I go into Dollar General, I'm going in because I want the cheapest prices possible. Do you want somebody coming to your show and what they see gives them the feeling that they want the cheapest prices possible? Or do you want them to feel like, oh, wow, this is some nice stuff. I might get a good deal, but wow, I'm going to pay for some of this stuff because it's really, really nice stuff, right? That I can walk into. I'm not interested in customers who think they can walk into Louis Vuitton and buy one for $1. Okay. Not reality, yes. We talked about cleaning items. Here's the next one. How confident you are as a seller will affect drastically your average order value. How you speak, how you present the items. We're going to talk about some of the stuff to say and not to say. Your words are powerful. We, without thinking, and I do it all the time, believe me, it's one of the things I'm constantly in my head thinking about and trying to improve on. We use words that diminish our items without even thinking that we do. This is just a little pen. It's a little pen. Don't pay a whole lot for it, right? Instead of, this is the best Sharpie you will ever find. Okay. Just. The word just. It's never say just. There you go. Good. We're just being apologetic in your items. How we speak about it. When you talk about call outs, you can say, hey, this is pre-loved. It has some cracks on here. This is consistent with age. Or there's a big old crack over here. Don't hide the call outs. By all means, we are going to disclose everything we need to disclose. But how you say it, your words hold so much power and influence the perception of value for the people in your room. Yeah, never say just. And particularly, and I know Whatnot, we seem to have a lot more women in vintage than we do men. So I'm not just talking to the women, but as women, we tend to say just more than males say just. We need to watch that. Language for resellers. Oh, did it really? Forgotten Memories? Thank you so much. So what's Forgotten Memories is talking about, we do one of the PDFs. It is called The Language for Resellers. And it talks about all these words, some of the stuff that I'm talking about, but it goes into a lot more examples of don't say this instead. And it's not lying, it's not manipulation, it's making something shown in the best light possible. So, oh, my chat froze. Oh, there we go. Yeah, a chip wouldn't bother as a collector, but it's how we say, it's how we call out a chip. Like, hey, this is 100 years old. There is a few little minor chips along the rim. It's consistent with the age. This is from the early 1900s versus, okay, we have a picture here. It's kind of chipped up. There's a difference in how we present something. It's been loved and has lots of story to tell. I love that. I love that line right there, because you're being truthful, but you're painting it in a positive light. So some of the other stuff that we have to, it includes on your presentation, talking about flaws. Are we showing the flaws clearly? Because we're about to talk about trust, and this builds into our trust. Explaining the size and the scale. I didn't realize how important size and scale was until I sold jewelry. And this is my aha moment when I was selling jewelry. When you're doing vintage, it's really easy to pull out your tape measure and say, oh, this is so many inches high, right? When I went to jewelry, I didn't think about it, because to me it was a completely different product. It's a small, I was holding it in my hand. I sold I Love Discounts a charm, and we happened to meet up in person, and Lysandra opened it up. And Lysandra, I'm not getting on you. It's a good story. You taught me a lesson. She opened it up, and the first thing she said is, this is beautiful, but I thought it was a lot bigger. Instantly, I realized on camera, it looked way bigger than it was in real life, and scale and size matters. The size that she thought it was influenced her decision and how much she was willing to pay for it. So no matter what you're selling, size in clothing, scale in vintage decor, scale, size in jewelry, all of that matters. And for us to be as honest with our buyers as possible, one, we talk about we're moving into building the trust thing, but two, it's going to change the value, and hopefully for the better. It was still an amazing deal. It was still a beautiful piece, but it taught me a lesson instantly, something that I wouldn't think about, particularly with jewelry. Good morning, estate addicts, Cream City Rollers, hello. And it's easy. So improving adding measurements. It's super easy to add measurements. If you notice, if you go and look at my show tomorrow, I don't put a lot of descriptions in. My description is usually the measurement, and if there's a call out that I'm aware of. That's it. Because I'm showing it live, I don't need a lot of other description. I need just enough information for somebody to feel confident to place a dollar pre-bid. That's it. And then they can bid more when they see it live. Then we start adding more value when we're doing our presentation of the item. The next thing is styling ideas. The more you can help somebody visualize how to use it in their house, the better it is. Now, there's a little bit of difference in this. When we're talking vintage decor, I always, not every item, but I try to give some thought or ideas of different ways to use something. I think it helps people. One of the biggest ones that sells banana boats for me every time is you can take a banana boat and put it in your guest bathroom and put rolled up towels in it. Not something a lot of people are going to think of, but then they're all of a sudden, now they're thinking, I don't like bananas. I never buy bananas, but that's really cool, and I can use that in a way that has nothing to do with bananas. So talking about stories behind the storytelling, stories behind how you got an item, what the item means. You want to hear a really great storyteller? Go to a Daisy Lane show. She has built a whole niche vintage show based on storytelling and the history of items, where they came from, why they're special. And what does that do? Increases the value of the items. So you don't have to sit there and spend 5 minutes talking about an item, but to say a little bit of something about it helps that emotional connection. We're looking at, doesn't this remind you of when Grandma used to bake those cookies, and all of a sudden it clicks? Grandma did have that exact, oh, I've got to have that because Grandma had that thing in her kitchen, and that makes me feel, that gives me that emotional connection. Try to honor the estate stories. There you go. Any story. It could be how you found it. It could be something funny. It could be the history of it. And it doesn't have to be on every single item, but those are those personal connections that increase the value of the items. Think about it like this. Let me get another giveaway going. Think about it like this. Have you guys ever bought a house? Most of us have bought houses at one point, or at least we've toured houses, right? So you go to look at houses, and the house is completely empty. No furniture in there, nothing. You're just walking from room to room. Versus you go to a house that's beautifully staged with just the right amount of furniture. It's styled. It gives you the impression of what you can do with the home, okay? Same house, two completely different scenarios, but the house didn't change. The one that's styled is going to sell faster than the empty house. My best show was the estate of a priest Oh, that was cool. I bet you it was interesting stories though, and that's what does it. It draws people in, and then they want a piece of that. Okay. Let's talk about presentation mistakes. We talked about all these good things on presentation. Let's talk about some mistakes. Moving the item too fast. I know some sellers that are popular sellers that I'm like, how in the heck do you do this? Because there's almost never a call out mentioned, and it's boom, 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 run it. I don't know how they do it. I think moving an item too fast is a presentation mistake. We talked about lighting, poor lighting, not showing scale, your language, I don't knows. It's okay to say, I don't know who the maker of this is. There is no maker's mark, so see for yourself. Let me show you what is or isn't there. Hey, I don't recognize this maker's mark. Maybe you guys recognize it. Does this mean something to you? If you don't know, there's a way to say you don't know without just being like, I don't know, here it is. You figure it out, right? Don't over focus on the flaws. There's flaws, call them out. We don't need to be apologetic and like, oh my God, there's so many chips in this, but it's really, really cool, but I know it's chipped, but it's beautiful colors, but I know it's chipped. Like, we don't have to keep going back to the flaws. Say them, state them, put them in the description, and move on. I think asking the audience for info is wonderful, particularly if you don't know. It's a great way to get over the bad perception of I don't know. It's like, hey, you guys, character blemishes. Perfect way to describe it. There'll be times where I'm like, I'm not really sure what this is used for, or I don't know what animal this is. I did it on my show the other day. I thought it was I put it as a chipmunk. It was actually a beaver. I'm like, I think I did this as a chipmunk. You guys, is this a beaver? It's okay. That gets that engagement going. You're involving them and saying, and helping like you to learn something. People love to put advice in the chat. And I think it's great. So don't be apologetic. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the biggest one. And I hear this so many times, particularly with pricing. I paid up for this, you guys, so I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to charge $30. My starting bid has to be $30, or I paid up for this. That does not make anybody want to cover your mistake, because you made a bad sourcing decision does not make that item have more value to me. Keep your price out of it. Or I'm not a glass expert, so here it is. And exactly, yeah. I'm not too sure. This may be an L.E. Smith, or this may be a Fenton. Any collectors out there can help me identify this one? Stuff like that is a great way to have that involvement with the chat and still have a very good presentation. But the sounding apologetic, nobody, if I come across, let me grab something here. Hold on. Let me just pick something up. Here we go. You guys, I have these butter pads. They're Delft, but they're really little. I'm so sorry. They're small. They're only 3 inches. Regular butter pads are 3.5. I'm really sorry about that, but they're really cool. It's far different than, I've got Delft butter pads. Have you guys ever seen Delft? Not only do I have one, I have a set of 4 Delft butter pads. They're 3-inch butter pads. Normally you'll see butter pads that are 3 1/4, 3.5. These are exactly 3-inch butter pads. There's a sorry, Libby. They're just here for me to grab. There's a big difference. Don't be apologetic, and particularly with your pricing. There is no reason why anybody in the world needs to know what you paid for an item. None. It's nobody business in your room. You're going to negatively affect it no matter what way you go. If you say, hey, I got a great deal on this. I only paid $1, but our starting bid is 10. They're not going to feel like they're getting a deal, right? They're going to be like, oh, it gives a bad perception. Or if you go the other way and you say, I overpaid for this, you guys, I had to pay up. I paid up to bring this to you, so now I want you to pay up. There's no good way to talk about your price in your room. There's just not. I swipe out when sellers start talking about how much they paid or what it sells for on it. Exactly. This isn't another platform. This is Whatnot. I don't care what it sells for on eBay. It doesn't matter what it sells for on eBay. What matters here is the price the buyers in the room are willing to pay. That's all that matters. Southern Charm, you got that giveaway. Thanks for being here. My cousin was asking where I got stuff yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's just like, nope. I climbed through the attic, fought a bat, now it's worth more. Yeah. And there's the thing too. I'm all about the stories. We just talked about how storytelling could, I found this at the antique store and I was so excited when I found it. versus, well, I had to get up early in the morning and I sweated to bring this to you, or I went through all the work and I drove to the store. There's a good way to paint something and a bad way to paint something. Think about your resume. Let's tie this to real life. Are you going to write your resume and says, I'm really not a morning person. I kind of hate getting up. I really don't like talking on the phone. Definitely don't like being around people, but I can be a good team player. You're not going to write your resume that way. So you should hire me. But yet we come to Whatnot and we describe our products that way and think people want to buy them and think that the value is going to go up. And don't apologize for shipping cost. Yeah, I would like to write a very truthful resume sometimes. Yeah, don't apologize for shipping cost. If you aren't doing reduced shipping and have weighed items accurately, just let it be. The cost is the cost. It is. Now, I'm always going to tell you reduced shipping is better, but Whatnot still has the best shipping cost out of all the platforms. So yeah, don't be. It's very hard, unless you are like drastically overweighing things, it is hard to overcharge somebody in shipping. How do you feel about, hey guys, screenshot this and do a little research. I'm going to run it in 10, let the buyer see the value on that. I'm not against it. But I think that's probably one of those ways to I think that's probably better done in pre-listing. So when I'm thinking about that, it's probably by pre-listing, people who are interested, collectors, can go and do their research ahead of time. I often would say in like my Bougie for a Buck or my reverse auctions, hey, I have everything pre-listed if you like to, look at comps or take a look and see what you might like. But I try to keep all other prices out of it. I just think other pricing doesn't matter on Whatnot. I'm a newer seller here. I went all in when stocking my jewelry inventory, so a lot of pieces I can't research due to time management. Any suggestions? Do you have to research your pieces? I mean, unless they're pieces that are super high value that you're not going to sell at a base price, do you have to research your pieces? I research very little of what I sell. Yeah, I think a lot of buyers will look it up naturally, particularly one. You have a lot of resellers here, so they're going to have come already with a lot of experience if they're buying to resell. They're going to bring their own knowledge and experience and their own price point and what they're willing to pay, just like Jennifer says. If they're a collector, they're looking for a certain item, and they're probably willing to pay a little bit more because it's for a personal collection, but they know what they want already, so they already have something in mind, or they'll do their own research. Not to derail, but did you see the thing USPS put out about incorrect dimensions both ways? Forgotten memories? I did not. I actually heard you talk about that in your show. I was in your show last night, but I'm still on incognito mode. Can you send that to me? Because I couldn't find it. I went to look for it, couldn't find it at all. So if you can send me a link, I will definitely talk about that in my next show. Yeah, and I don't want to know what it can go for. There's very few things I'm going to research unless it's like my reverse auction, because I have to start a price somewhere. This is the beauty of dollar starts or low starts, you guys. I can research something to the 10th degree and think that it is worth 80 bucks. But if nobody in my room thinks that it's worth 80 bucks, it's not worth 80 bucks. This is the beauty of starting it for $1. The room determines the value. And normally the room, they're right. Whatever the value is going to be. It gets to a point, once you start doing it for a while, that you figure out, I can spend up to a certain dollar amount. For me, it's around $15 to $20 on an item, depending on what the item is, and run it for $1. And when I look at it, I can say, I'm pretty confident the room will bid it up enough for me to make a profit on this. It's the value is always determined by the customer, but like things just have an inherent value, and your room knows what that inherent value is. It's like when I was showing the butter pets, people were like, hey, that's worth a lot right there. I don't have to worry about the value. I don't need to research it. I bring it at a good price, and then the room will put the proper value on it based on what they're willing to pay. I feel like this is how real life works, but some forget that it's only when people are willing. Yeah, it's only what people are willing to spend. Did Jeremy talk about it? Maybe I'll reach out to him. I think what Jeremy was talking about yesterday was, who just got that? Congratulations on whoever just got that giveaway. Let me take a look and see who that was.
Congratulations.
Rare Rescued Relics. Thank you for being here. Sorry I missed it when it first came up. I think he was talking about the memo that came out on the one that we talked about with the Premier Shop and the seller support. All right, so we talked a whole lot about the value. Too busy of a background is going to make your presentation bad. I don't know, but we talked about having what kind of curated background are you going to have? We talked about cleaning. Let's move on to talk about, good morning to Vintage Gypsy Bree. Let's talk about trust, okay? Trust is going to increase how much people pay. And I hate to say this for all of you new people out there, the newer you are, the probably lesser amount you're going to get for your items. This is why new people come on the app and they're 5 shows in and they say, well, House of Coop sold the exact same hen and they got $200 and I'm going to get but $40 for it. It's because House of Coop has been on here for 2.5 years building trust with their customers. They're buying not just the item, they're buying part of House of Coop and what comes with that. They're buying the notoriety. They're buying the trust that they've built up, that they know that it's packed right. They know that it's shipped right. It can go away really fast too. You can break your trust as quick. It's easier to break your trust than it is to earn it. Yeah, and people swipe for the experience. So the new sellers who are like, I mean, I see it on Facebook all the time. I've done 5 shows. I don't know why I'm not an instant success yet. Because it takes time to build that trust. People want to know you're going to come back over and over and over. Trust is one of the highest drivers of sales. We can bundle all day long. We can present best and use all these presentation techniques. But if people can't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. They're definitely not going to bid your items up really high if they can't trust you. So, I mean, I don't want to discourage new sellers, but it takes time. How do we build that trust? Create FOMO, build value. You want to see Tracy doing something too? I won't. All of my stuff pretty much is new. And I'm not saying this in a braggy way. It's taken me 2.5 years to get to this point where I have 100% sell-through rate. I bring all new items every single Saturday morning, but it's taken 2.5 years to get there. And 2.5 years to build up trust for people to come into my room and know that we're going to package the best that we can package. We're going to ship it out on time. I'm going to tell you everything I know about the item that I can possibly tell you. It takes time. And this is where a lot of people are like, they're just impatient. I'm probably the most impatient person ever. You see me with my husband all the time, like, come on, switch our cameras. I'm super impatient. This is one of those things. Business grows slowly. So the longer you stay around, you earn the trust, the more valuable your items become. It's not because the item itself is more valuable, it's because of what you have built. So how do we build that? Hold on, you guys. My husband's getting mad at me. He's like, you didn't silence your phone. There it is. Now it's silent. Okay, so how do we build the trust? I'm fired. Yes, I messed it up today. So here are all trust building things, okay? Besides time. Time's a big one. But besides time, accurate descriptions, right? Don't say something is 6 inches and it's really 4 inches, whatever. Accurate descriptions. Clear call outs. Talk about the call. Don't hide the call outs. And if you find a call out after the fact, you're shipping, you're going to package it up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this crack. Just happened to me the other day. I sold a picture, didn't realize there was this hairline crack in the handle. Went to pack it up. You DM the person, you message them, hey, I'm so sorry. Would you still like this item? Or would you like to cancel? Or I will cancel since I missed it. You let me know, right? So what's the best advice to properly list things as a new seller and get your money's worth? So are you talking about listing for auction or listing in your bin for like the marketplace on whatnot? Tell me which one, because I think there's 2 different ways to list. So let me know, for auction selling that you're going to show them, or you're just putting it in the bin for people to see on their own. Consistent shipping. Better to wait to do reduced shipping and dollar starts after the first couple of shows. Absolutely. So both. Okay, let's talk about this. So first of all, reduced shipping and dollar starts. Do not do your very first show at dollar starts or reduced shipping unless you have like some financial reserve to fall back on. It's probably going to bite you in the butt. Both of those, I say wait until you have some data behind you that you can look at your data and understand the financial implications of it before you do either one of those things. And if you were going to do one or the other, I would 100% go with reduced shipping first before I lowered my prices. Tober, you got that giveaway. Thank you for being here.
Congratulations.
So I would absolutely do reduced shipping first before lowering prices, because reduced shipping is going to give you a bigger impact quicker than the reduced prices, because shipping is a harder pill to swallow for people than a $5 start. That, my opinion on that. So as far as listing, if you are listing for your auction, you're doing pre-list in your auction, you don't need a lot of description. You need base description. What is the bare minimum of information somebody would need to be comfortable making a pre-bid? So whatever that means in what you're selling. Is there a call out? What size is it? Is it like, is there something about it that they need to know that's not obvious from the couple of pictures you put up? And you don't need all 8 pictures. Whatnot allows you 8 pictures. You do not need all 8 if you're listing it for auction. You need enough to make the person comfortable to pre-bid. Why? Because you are also going to show it live, particularly if your prices are low. If you're doing dollar starts, somebody bids $1, and then you're showing it live and they change your mind. That's not very hard pill to swallow, versus if you're listing it at 20 and then you're showing something and you show the call out and you didn't put it in the description. So whatever is going to influence that pre-bid. Now, if you're listing for the bin or the marketplace, I think the bin is probably the mid-range one, because people, if you take request, you can always go and get it and show it. But there you're going to need a little more information. You're going to need a little bit more of a description there, because now it's almost like a static listing, right? It's not so much of a live listing. And then if you're just using stuff in the marketplace, that's like eBay. So if you're putting it in the marketplace, that's like eBay. You're going to need a lot more description, because that's all they have. They do not have that live format then. I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of a tiered effect. When you're showing live, that's the benefit. That's where we give the value here. Think about it like this. When you're on eBay, when you're doing something static, the only way to give value is through a description. You're telling a story. If you click on a lot of the details on eBay's listings, there's a little history, there's some other descriptions, there's, a paragraph or two. Sometimes it's AI. But that's the only way they have value. When we're live selling, our value is done through all the things we're talking about, through the trust that we build, through the presentation that we have. So we don't need all the words to do that, because we're doing it in person. Is there a way to see only marketplace orders segregated from live shows? I'm pretty sure on your orders tab, there's a filter button. You guys, if somebody could check that or correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure there's a filter button on your orders tab that you can filter by marketplace orders versus show orders. And you can do like certain shows. It's up at the top. I'm picturing the screen in my head, the top left of the screen. Okay, thank you. Everybody's like, yeah. Can you tell us about the impact of getting involved in raid trains and how that is done? Absolutely. Eclectic. So raid trains can be a wonderful marketing tool. They can also be extremely detrimental to your business. You have to get into a raid train for the right reason. I never, ever look at a raid train as a money-making opportunity. A raid train is about marketing. It's about getting in front of crowds that may not normally know who Zoe's Treasures is. So you want to look for raid trains that are cross-category. I want people, like Battle of the Best is cross-category. There may be people from toys, from plants, from clothing. All of those people may like vintage stuff, but they just don't know who I am, and they get to see me. I get a chance to give my elevator pitch, to tell a little bit about who I am and get exposure. I think they could be detrimental. So that's a way that they could be very good for you. They could be detrimental if you're chasing raid trains. If your business is built off of only going to raid trains, basically what you're doing is you're allowing raid train conductors to drive the direction of your business. Nobody but you should be driving the direction of your business. Trains should complement the strategy you've already decided on for your business. So I'll just use myself as an example so you can see my thinking for it. Livy, go to CG Boomerang Echo. Can you put CG in there? She is a raid train host, and she does a ton of cross-category trains. Ranchance finds, I like raid trains because of the themes. So I'm trying to curate my shows with the themes. And raid trains could be, and that is a good thing about raid trains, where if it's like the primitive decor raid train, you know everybody who's like jumping in to watch that wants primitive decor. Yep, there it is, right? That's her website, but she has Whatnot, CG Boomerang Echoes on Whatnot. So yeah, her website has a ton of information. You can sign up for trains and show interest there too. Where I say that trains should be complementing your business. I have my strategy for my business. Thank you, honey, for putting that up there. I appreciate that. I have my strategy for my business. I also have parameters around what trains I will be on and what trains I will not be on. I'm very selective on my trains. It's either a community purpose. I'm either doing a train for a purpose of supporting, or I'm doing a train for purpose of marketing. One or the other. I will not do the trains anymore that are the sell as fast as you can in a short amount of time. I may do, and I say that there is a caveat because I have been invited to one that I'm considering for a specific reason. But in general, you need to make sure that the trains fit what you're doing. It's very detrimental that if you get invited to animal themed train, but you don't have any animal themed stuff, and then you go out and buy a bunch of stuff for the train, and then you're stuck with a bunch of stuff that you don't normally sell. So use trains strategically as part of your business, but not let it run your business. I honestly think the people who are train chasers are hurting themselves in the long run, because all they are doing is following what everybody else wants versus figuring out who they are and where their business is going. Hopefully that answered it. That's my 2 cents on trains. So let's talk about some other ways trust is built. Fair handling of issues. This is where I was going back to the whole thing at the beginning. If somebody's asking for a refund, don't get defensive about it. Put yourself in their shoes. How you handle a request for a refund is going to determine if that person comes back to you ever again or not. I think my time may suck for summer. Do I just keep it? Keep what? I think my time may. I'm not sure what you're talking about. For trains? Olivia, explain a little bit more. Your anchor show? So if you have an anchor show, keep your anchor show. Don't change it, and experiment with other times. If you find another time that works better, then you can switch your anchor show. But always give your buyers, always give the people in your room that notice that you're switching. So do a couple of them for a couple of weeks, do 2, and then say, hey, I'm going to be switching it. Yeah, absolutely. Add a second one in. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Keep your anchor. And then if you ever want to change your anchor, find what your new anchor is and slowly, hey, everybody, we're going to be moving this show to this day and time instead. I found that this works better for me. You want it, any change you make in your business, you want to have a lead into it. You want to give, the bigger the change, the more time you need to lead in, the more time you need to be talking about it and letting people know what's coming. Because the worst thing that can happen is they get used to seeing you at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, and you've decided that, no, I'm going to do Wednesday at 2. And they're like, what the heck happened to Livy? Where is she? And they don't know to look for you on Wednesday at 2. So you want to make sure that you're giving the proper notice and that lead in so they can start switching, because they want to follow their favorite seller, right? So some of the other ways that trust is built is answering questions honestly. Yes, my love, what's going on over there?
Sorry for the interruption. I believe it was Miss Cynthia who asked about the different ways to look at the orders. If you go to your orders on the computer, I did it, and there's a tab right below the orders that it says all shows and marketplace. You can filter by marketplace. If you sold it by marketplace, only the marketplace purchases or orders will be shown. And if you put it by show, then obviously you can select which show or all the shows.
So this is the next big thing about building trust. I'm going to do the dreaded C word again, consistently. Showing up when you say you're going to show up, on time, be there. I know it's ironic. I moved my show on Wednesday. I had a migraine. I went to the ER. Make that the exception, not the rule. Be where say you're going to be. Do what you say you're going to do. Have a consistent show format over and over and over again. How confusing is it to a customer to come into your room and you're doing random polls one day, then you're doing pre-listed the next day, then you're doing maybe a little bit of both the third day, then the next day you're back to random polls. If they don't know what to expect, it does not bode well to increasing trust. Have a consistent show format and show up over and over and over again. I cannot tell you how many times I have bookmarked a show, and if you go down into your activity tab on your phone and you can go click on saved and you can see what all the shows that you've bookmarked. How many times that I'll get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, what shows did I save for today? This is a habit of mine. I look at what shows did I save for today, thinking, kind of matching up with my schedule. Can I actually get into the show or not? Maybe I'll pop in for 5 minutes in between meetings. And it's moved. Like I've looked at it, I'm like, I could have swore that person had a show today. What happened to it? Over and over again. You're going to erode trust. If I can't count on you to be there when you say you're going to be there, why should I show up for you? And if you can't commit to doing a show, how are you going to commit to shipping my items on time? How are you going to commit? How do I know you're being truthful with me if you can't even show up? A lot goes into being there and showing up when you say you're supposed to be there. When you schedule something, it holds a lot of weight. And this is such an important point because so much on Whatnot, you hear, it's okay, just put a bunch of shows so people can bookmark it and then you can change them. You can move them around. It hurts your business, you guys. It hurts your business. I can't explain it enough. I've stopped watching people who constantly move shows. I say, oh my God, yes. Then I end up going to a different show and spend money elsewhere. Exactly. Because if you're not there, guess what? There's 30 or 40 other people in that category that would be more than happy to take the money. More than happy. Handling customer service issues is huge for creating long-term loyal clients that are thrilled and comfortable invest. Millicents, I mean, you can't say it even louder for the people in the back. How you handle your customer service will determine if that person is ever going to come back to you or not. 100%. I have had customers that things that broke in shipping, things that may have been my fault. And because I'm honest, because I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to question you. I'm going to say, yep, you're right. I am so sorry. Here's your money back. Like that. Then they will come back and they'll know, you know what? If there's a problem with the order from Tracy, she'll do right by me. I had to reschedule my show yesterday after a doctor called and I needed to take my mom in last minute. I felt, Ranch Hand Finds. I am not getting up here. Look, I just did it this week too. Wednesday, was day 3 of a migraine. I woke up and told my husband I need to go to the ER. There is no way I was going to be able to do a show. Those are exceptions. Exceptions, that's life. It happens even in our 9-to-5 jobs. We wake up sick. Things happen with our families that we have to take a day off of our 9-to-5 jobs. That's okay. My point is, we don't make the exception the rule that we live by. Unfortunately, too many people on Whatnot live by the fact that they can reschedule and make this convenient whenever it fits into their life. It's a business. It's not about fitting into your life. It's about you making it fit where you need it to be and showing up, being committed, and being consistent. We changed our schedule around before the CEO challenge and still haven't recovered. Oh no, forgotten memories. I've never forgot a way you were more comfortable doing it on purpose either. So that's just a big one. That builds more trust. When they know that they can come to you week after week after week after week, they're going to spend more money with you. And I know it seems like, well, how does that mean I'm going to get more money in my shows? It just does. I'm not sure if I can even explain it any better than it just does. And I know that's kind of like, trust me, which is like a statement, right? Rawson, you got that giveaway, but it works. Lemon Tree Gifts, good morning. So think about this. You guys ever take your car to a mechanic? I'm going to give you another analogy here. You can take your car to a mechanic. If you don't know the mechanic, if you haven't been going to them for a long time, the tiniest little repair, you're going to be like sus about. You're going to be that suspicious. Do I really need a tire? Are you telling me the truth? Let me look at that. Do the brake pads really need to be changed? Are you just trying to get money out of me? But if you've been going to them for a long time and they've treated you well, and they say, hey, I know it's probably not in your budget, but you need all new brakes. You're like, oh man, all right, what can we do about it, right? You trust, it's the trust. It's no different than any other service we have. We have to fall back on the same thing here on Whatnot. So when I talk about some consistency here, we're going to go back to the show consistency. So it's more than just showing up, okay? It's similar categories. If you are a person that you are in estate sales one day, vintage the next day, storage units the next day, jewelry the next day, where are they supposed to find you? How do they know what's going on? It's not building this. It's like, well, you're all over the place. You know what that reminds me of? These people that are all over the place in 20 different categories and they don't have any one consistent home. Not saying that you can't be in more than one category, but to have one consistent base home that you kind of venture out of. It reminds me of going to the Cheesecake Factory and they have this 20-page menu and you're like, there's no way you can do any of this very well. You have 20 pages of items here. You can't do none of this good. Versus going to a fine restaurant that has 10 entrees that you know they've perfected. So having consistency in your category is kind of like that, right? I do vintage really, really well, okay? I may go over here, I may sell a little bit of this, or I may sell a little bit of that, but I'm really good at this. And they know they can trust the vintage, right? That's consistency. Have separate bookmark listings? Absolutely. I'm not going to read your comments. Predictable energy. I talked about this the other day. I can't show up as tired Tracy one day, grumpy Tracy the next, happy Tracy. You gotta bring you and consistent. I am throwing shade on Cheesecake Factory. They may be good, but their menu is just too much. I don't trust any menu that has more than like 10 or 15 items on it. Consistent policies. We talked about policies, I think it was last week.
The good grabs. Don't worry. She's an odd one. When she's gonna eat, she'll eat mac and cheese. So, yeah.
Who
20
doesn't like a
items
good
in the
mac and
menu, and
cheese?
she's gonna order mac and cheese.
Who doesn't look like a good mac and cheese? Come
That's
on.
right. Ranchan finds Godiva. Yes.
Can you speak on what type of show thumbnail picture is best to engage buyers? So according to Whatnot, according to Whatnot, a real picture, a picture of a real person supposedly is the most converted thumbnail, the most like clicked on thumbnail, according to Whatnot. I'm testing that theory by changing my Monday and Wednesday ones to an actual picture of myself. We'll see. I haven't seen a huge difference yet. The AI definitely, Whatnot has reported that they are seeing a decline in the people because it's too much. So when you're thinking about your thumbnails, again, consistency, logo, make it something they can recognize you. Make it like a consistent coloring. Look at I Love Discounts. I Love Discounts has different types of shows, but their logo looks about the same for every single show. You can see a Zoe's Treasures logo in almost every single thumbnail that we do. So think about consistency in your thumbnail and maybe not so AI. And I know AI is big and I know everybody's using it, but it's also overused where it just blends into the rest of them that are there. So you want to stick out. You want to stand out from the crowd. So having something a little bit different stands out from the crowd.
I'm going to have to talk about cooking. Millicent, now give me a little bit of spaghetti with Alfredo, a little bit of shrimp, put it in the oven, and top it off with cheese to melt. Now, that's something that I can bite on.
There you go. Forgotten Memory says it right there. Pick a design and stick with it. And when you get tired of it, the moment you start to get tired of that design is when you need to dig your heels in a little bit deeper and don't change it. Because the minute you start getting tired of it is right about when everybody else starts recognizing that branding. So pick right there. But Forgotten Memories just summed it up in a nice few sentences. Y'all are going to talk about just when you started to learn Chat. Now, Swamp Chick, you can use ChatGPT with real pictures. So my Monday, Wednesdays are real pictures of me enhanced with ChatGPT.
You can use him as a reference.
Yeah.
And you can tell it that you want that image reference to do certain things with it.
So you can still use AI to help create a recognizable thumbnail that's not the cartoon character of yourself. It's that cartoony character, that AI character that everybody's using, that's what's becoming overused, and people are just scrolling right by it at this point.
Millicent, if you ever come to visit, I'm gonna make you poblano baked spaghetti.
I don't know I can update my name when I got on, and now I feel it's too late to change it. People use this. Jennifer, you can change it, honestly. And I'm not picking on you, but I'm going to total like perception here. When you have the name with the numbers after it, it looks like it's something Whatnot generated versus a business name that you've picked. And you can change it. What I suggest when you're going to change your name, change your logo first, but keep the name the same, so that people recognize the name and they start to get used to the logo. And then eventually, and you're talking about it in your shows, hey, I'm going to be changing my name soon. Do your logo first, and you can talk about that, and then you change your name. And it's this slow ramp up. It gets people used to it. And it also doesn't hurt to send messages to a lot of your best customers or the people who shop with you. Hey, just want to let you know my new name is this, and it just connects the dots for them.
We're gonna have to start a new show on Whatnot about cooking.
Hey, Lori Can Shop is doing, if you guys don't know Lori Can Shop, she was one of our CEO participants. She is actually doing a cooking chat show coming up. I think it's in June. I have different thumbnails with our gator mascot that we made with our A, but it's, there you go, consistently a gator. That's the key right there, is you have a consistent element that people recognize from thumbnail to thumbnail to thumbnail. Logo, gator, it's a picture of something. If you can do the Green 13 method and just use the logo, or you can use the logo in different manners to represent different shows. I use mine. I have a different theme, for the first week of the month, the second week, the third week. So mine represents the aesthetic that I'm selling that week, but the logos are all very similar. The style of each one is very similar. When I see lots of numbers named, I automatically assume it's a bot. Yeah. I use estate sales show category, and mostly estate sales as inventory category. If I wanted to use a craft category for some inventory, you could, Rawson, you could. What I was saying about the categories is have a home base. What is your main? Like here, it sounds like estate is your main, and then venture out a little bit from there. But you should have something you're really, really good at. That's your main category where your anchor show is at, and then you can start exploring out into other categories. You mentioned multiple categories. Are we talking about adding another category, 3 shows a week, each show a different category? Are you talking about Forgot Memories doing 3 different categories? There's nothing wrong with it if you can make it work. I've had difficulty in that, but that doesn't mean that it can't work for some people. Mine was more so the jewelry. I don't like selling jewelry.
She's too impatient.
I'm way too impatient for jewelry. Don't be sorry, it's cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it if you have an anchor show. Now, if those are 3 completely different things, jewelries, crystals, and Legos are 3 completely different things. You almost need an anchor show in each one to build up those audiences. Because I don't know, jewelry and crystal probably has some crossover. I don't know how much crystals and Legos have crossover. So if you're looking at really completely different categories, it's kind of like you're starting over in a new category. You're going to have to take time to build that up again and have an anchor show in each one. So you're thinking about starting as a seller, but will most likely stick with pet stuff, as that's what I know. Yeah, that's fine. Yep, Forgot Memories, I think that's great. Just know that it's going to take the time again. You just got to put in the effort, but I know you're up for it. I know you can do it. For the craft stuff, should I use craft categories for category or continue with the state show with craft category? I would probably go into the crafts. I mean, it depends what kind of craft stuff, but if it's truly things that crafters want, the crafters probably aren't in estates looking for it. They're probably in crafts looking for it. So what's your demographic that you're selling to, and where are they going? So think about it like that. So when you're trying to pick your category is, who am I trying to sell this to? Who is the most likely customer base that's going to buy this? Now, what categories is that customer in? That's where I need to be. All right. So what else are we talking about? How about this? Strategy beats pressure. At the very beginning of this talk, we started off, everybody was like, bid it up, Chad, you're sleeping on it. And we're putting in all the things that like we hate to hear, right? You're very welcome. Thank you for asking questions, you guys. It keeps it entertaining here. Pressure can create urgency. We've seen it work. We've seen, hey, don't sleep on that, done in a good way, that can create some urgency, right? But strategy creates better buying experience. When you think it through, when you have a plan for it, it's ultimately a better experience. It doesn't feel so attacking on the buyers, right? Think about this too. Everybody in your room, and I know this for a fact, and I'm going to tell you exactly how, like, this was another aha moment for me. Buyers can feel when you're frustrated, you're desperate, or you're disappointed. If you have any of those feelings as a seller, the buyers will know about it. So you have to be very good at covering those feelings up. When I was selling jewelry, I would get so frustrated that I couldn't find that 925 mark. Oh, the tone, absolutely. The tone you see immediately. And to the point where the people who knew me, who've been around a bit, they're like, Tracy, are you okay? Like Southern Charm was like, I could feel your frustration. Like she was like, I knew, and I love discounts too. They're like, I knew how frustrated you were. And I thought I was hiding it. I thought I was being pretty cool about it. And I wasn't hiding it very well. It comes through. The people in your room will totally see that. And Southern Charm's like, nope, you weren't hiding it, not at all. I mean, now I know. And that lowers your bids. If somebody sees you're frustrated, like, who wants to bid? We're talking about increasing your average order value. None of that's going to increase your average order value. So I want you to think, chat, come on, chat, swipe. Yeah. Oh. For some reason, some people like that. I don't think it's a majority of people. I think it's they stay in it and they put up with it because of the possibility of the deals they're getting. I don't think they stay with it because it's a comfortable, inviting environment. And I think at the end of the day, what we want is a comfortable, inviting environment, not a yelling and screaming environment.
Really? And here I was thinking about asking so I can purchase the new toy.
Yeah, don't yell at me. And speaking of yelling, here's another analogy. I've kind of used this one before, but think about your retail store layout, favorite, like Macy's, Nordstrom's, wherever you like to go to shop. You go into stores like that, it guides you naturally through the store, right? You walk in, they usually have some sale items on mannequins up front. You walk a little bit further, then they've got beautiful higher end items displayed just right. It's the presentation is there. And then you get finally up to the checkout. You've picked out what you want. You go to the checkout, and there's usually some smaller add-on type items. Think of your Whatnot store like that, right? A store like Macy's or Nordstrom's, it's not yelling at you to spend more money. It guides you by its design to spend more money. That's what we want our Whatnot stores to be, to guide people by design.
Jennifer, I think most than anything is because what I've seen is they're either selling the beauty products or they're selling the electronics. And if you notice, depending on the electronic and depending on the room, sometimes the valuation of the item is not a high valuation. And that's when they start pushing more and more and more. And Forgotten Memories, nope.
He won't sell any of his Star Wars.
I'm not going to sell my Star Wars. Sorry.
Someday.
And I'm not interested in buying to sell.
Someday we'll take you on a Star Wars tour. My husband's Star Wars tour. One of these days we'll do that. It is a massive collection. That makes sense. I love hoarding. I love hoarding chaos. If estate sale looks like Pottery Barn, I walk away. You like to dig. So think about this though. A store like Macy's, Nordstrom's, all of these stores, they're designed to make you spend more money. They're designed in a way that you're like, oh, this is pretty. Oh, I need that. It's styled. It's presented. It leads you through the flow of the store. That's how our shows can be, okay? It's a show flow. The more you curate your show flow, and when I say curate, I don't mean you have to have curated items. You can do random and still have a show flow. But the more you curate that experience, you're guiding people through your show. You're having some stuff at the checkout they can put in their box nice and easy, right? Some bin items. That's the checkout add-on items. Increases your order value. you're presenting the right way, your high-end items are getting, nice shiny light, all done up just the right way. You're starting with some of the lower end items. We're doing a strategic show flow. All of that helps increase the order value. So let's talk about a show flow. What does that look like? So when we're talking, am I missing? I dug out a bunch of vintage. You guys are all caught up in Star Wars. If you can get him to sell his Star Wars, you would be my absolute best friend for life, because there is too much Star Wars. Y'all,
Forgotten Memories. Green 13 is getting ready to do a Star Wars show, and it's going to be epic. He's got some really good stuff.
They want a Star Wars tour. Is your office presentable to show the Star Wars? He's like, no. Let him clean up his office a bit. It's a mess. We'll give you a Star. Maybe next Friday we'll have it ready for a Star Wars tour.
Oh, I don't need it to make it bigger. I already have a bunch of stuff.
He has a whole man cave I built him. I built him, myself. I did the flooring, 16-foot built-in cabinet for his Star Wars and his other toys. And then in his office, he has shelves that I put up, wall-to-wall shelves full of Star Wars. So he has too much Star Wars. All right. I'm going to talk about a strategic show flow. Show it. They want you to see. Go clean it up, and we'll switch the phone and show them your Star Wars.
It's too far. It won't pick it up.
Well, he'll have to figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, Cords and Star Wars.
I need to set it up. I'm gonna use Jennifer's kind of suggestion on how to do certain things in order to connect the camera. So it needs to be a camera that has to transmit through not only wireless but in a different manner. So it'll be a little project.
We'll get it. We'll do a Star Wars tour. But Forgotten Memories, I do want him to sell it. Let's just put it this way. He has such a Star Wars collection that it's like legit listed in his will to go to our daughter. Like, who puts your Star Wars collection in your will? My husband.
And let me tell you, Green 13 has a grail. He's got a collection that I'm eyeing that I don't think I can afford.
It is. He's been collecting some of these figures that he has are 50 years old. I mean, they're from the beginning of Star Wars. So he has figures from when he was a little kid. You're doing a Doctor Who collection. That's cool. All right. Let's talk strategic show flow really quick here. So we're talking about leading your buyers through a store like Nordstrom's, Macy's. You're taking them down a road to increase your average order value because we want to have that experience, right? So you're starting with some warm-up items. You start your show, lower mid-range items. You're just getting the finger warmed up, right? You're getting them comfortable. They just got there. They're getting their popcorn. They're getting their drink. They're like getting into their seat and getting ready for the show. It's the warm-up. You're doing that housekeeping stuff at the beginning. You're doing a few mid-range items. Then you're going to maybe go a little bit higher priced items, right? You're going to work up to your bangers. You're going to work up to the big stuff. By this time, they're in it. Maybe they've bought one or two low things. They're ready to spend some more money. The anticipation's built. That FOMO is built about missing out on the big items. So we're going up. Small items break the shipping barrier. Absolutely. After the bangers, we're going to go to the add-ons. We're going to go back down to your smaller items because now we've spent some money. We've got this big item. Let's fill the rest of our box. Let's put some of these other smaller items in there, and we're going to cool it down to your miscellaneous. You're going to maybe do a few bundles at the end. So you kind of have this flow going in your show. It's the same. So when you're thinking about how do you want your show to run, think about walking into your favorite department store. How is it laid out? How does it make you feel? Where are you going? That's what you want to do with your buyers, is to guide them through the show and help them kind of see the value of that. I always start with lower to mid-range items. So we're just kind of building up, because a lot of those first 2 or 3 items may not get as many bids as you think. So I'm not going to put something that I really expect to get bid high, really high up. It's just the starting one. It's that we're breaking that barrier to, okay, I'm going to buy this item. I know I'm going to, have to pay some shipping on it, but there's really good stuff to come that I know that I'm really going to want, right? It's the warm up to it. Can you suggest the best way to list choice of items, or is doing choice is a fantastic strategy to use. Why? Because it pits people against each other, and I know that sounds bad, but it pits people against each other in a good way. Because if I have 3 items out here, you could have 3 people who want it. You don't know you want item A, the next person wants item B, but you don't know that the other one wants B. You think they want your item. So you guys are bidding against each other because you want your choice of your pick. So bust battles. Yeah, Forgotten Memories does a really good example of this with the Battle of the Bust, where they have like the necklace bust and they put them on there, and you get to pick. So the choice is fantastic. Limit the choices though. Do not have more than 3 or 4, maybe 5 at most. The more choices you have, the less effective it becomes. So about 3 or 4. And don't do it over and over and over. It gets too repetitive. Use it strategically throughout a show. Would you recommend putting on max shipping to encourage the 100%, Jennifer? I will recommend max shipping every single day, all the time. I know there are a lot of talk show people out there who say if they want it bad enough, they'll pay full price shipping. Probably for the collectors. Who's your customer base? Is your customer base more of the collector, or is your customer base more of the reseller? I have a good mix, but most of mine are resellers. I mean, it depends. But if you have 2 shows that are equal, I've said this a million times and I'll say it a million more. For the most part, both great sellers, both have good presentation, both selling about the same vintage decor. One of them has 921 shipping, the other doesn't. Our natural instincts is to go with the one that has 921 shipping. We want to save money in any way we can. That is breaking down the barrier to buying for your customers. Kelly, you got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Is max shipping okay on the first show? I would not recommend it. And here's why. You need to learn the shipping. You need to understand what it's going to cost you before you start giving shipping away. You will pay something for it. When you do reduced and maxed are the same thing. You will pay something as the seller. So you need to understand what that cost is before you do it. I would suggest your first 5 or 6 shows, you do buyer pays all, understand the cost, and then go to reduced. Can you quickly explain how you set up the max shipping? I did in show this weekend, and then it bumped some people who bought over into ground. It will if it goes over 5 pounds. So it depends how you have your shipping settings. So anything under 16 ounces is ground automatically. So 1 to 15 ounces automatically ground. Then 1 pound to 5 pounds is priority. Then over 5 pounds is typically ground unless you have the priority box checked. So you pick which ones you want it to be. So they will, if you're over 5 pounds, if you had ground, it'll automatically put them into ground. I hope that answers your question. Also, make sure if you're doing max shipping, you have your bin loaded 100%. Crystal's right there. Y'all listen to what Crystal's saying. Total truth. If you're doing max shipping, put stuff in your bin. Because here's the deal. That's the add-ons. When we were talking about the add-on items, when you're in Nordstrom's and you go to the checkout and they have a few little items right there, maybe little perfume bottles or whatever it may be. Those are the things you're like, oh, I'm already here. I might as well just buy this too. Same thing. I've already spent shipping. I might as well put a few more things in my box. That's part of increasing your average order value. But doing max shipping, you should be doing that flat rate over 5 pounds to save yourself money. Yes. So I always suggest when you're doing max shipping, you have your 1 to 5 pounds as flat rate, your over 5 pounds as flat rate. Why? What's that going to do for you? As the seller, you are charged, the buyer and the seller are charged real time when somebody swipes. So I'm going to use my $4.50 shipping. That's my normal shipping I do. So I do max $4.50. When, let's say I sell something that's 2 pounds. When the buyer swipes on it, they're automatically charged $4.50. I'm automatically charged the rest of it up to $9.21. Then no matter how much more the buyer swipes, up to 70 pounds, because I have flat rate turned on both, I will not be charged any more during the show. Then when I go to ship, I can break it into, unbundle the boxes, do what I need to properly pack it and pay for it at the time of packing, exact what it needs to be versus being charged during the show. So that's why I do flat rate and flat rate. That's the difference in doing that. Okay. So we talked about strategic show flow. And some of the reasons my flat rate is turned on, just getting people over the 1 pound, my items are small in weight. And that's fine. Even if your flat rate is turned on, if it's under 1 pound, it's going to be ground anyways. And then you're only going to pay like for something. So a lot of you'll see on when I do my Monday, Wednesday shows, a lot of my items are smaller. I'm just now starting to venture out on adding a few more auctions and adding a little bit more size to it. But for the longest time, they were small items. And when somebody would buy just 1 or 2, a lot of times it didn't equal to over a pound. And so the $4.50 shipping they would pay, I would get charged like 28 cents. So it made it cost effective for me because it was under the pound. So that's the other thing when you're doing max shipping is making sure the items you're picking, you don't want to put a bunch of heavy items in there until you know you really, really understand your shipping. Should I turn the flat rate off if it's a pen or something very light? No, I would just pick your shipping settings and go with it. And then make sure that the weight that you assign that item is appropriate. If it's a pen or something very light, make it 1 to 3 ounces or 4 to 7 ounces. I have priority in the ground, but because the buyers were on the other side of the country, auto bundled priority. Yes, and Whatnot will do that. And this is what I'm saying. Whatnot has a good bundling system. Trust their system. They actually have designed it to be the cheapest possible way to do it. Okay, House of Duke. I do not understand a thing she just said about the flat rate stuff and bundles. You're not doomed. Message me and I'd be happy to send you some screenshots and we'll go, just send me a DM, House of Duke, and I'll help you through it. All right. What else am I missing here? Oh, and don't do flat rate if you don't want to do, yeah, Crystals is right. So if you have questions, I Love Discounts also does a shipping show. Eclectics, you got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Every Monday at 5 p.m. I Love Discounts right there. It's the most recent comment. They do a shipping show and they're really good at it. So that's another one that I definitely recommend going to see. They will walk you through the whole process, but feel free to always DM me also. Like I said, I'm happy to try to help. Let's see. Should I turn on flat rate off? Oh, I answered that. One. We're good. Okay. We're talking about show flow. Why does the show flow work? Why are we designing the way our items are sold in a show? If you run your best items first, the room might not be ready. I kind of explained that. They're just getting there. They don't want to put out a lot of money up front. They need to settle in. They need to feel comfortable in order to spend bigger bucks. So you don't want your best stuff first. There is some train of thought. Put a banger to begin with to kick the show off with a bang, right? Kick it off good. You're probably not going to get the best prices on the first couple of items you run. So you don't want your bangers on your first few items. If you run only low cost items, buyers may not expect the higher items. You want to have a natural buildup, a buildup and a cool down. If it's just low cost and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm going to throw you a banger, they're like, what? Where did that come from? We're doing low cost today. We're not doing bangers. So you want to have a consistent flow every single show so people start to feel comfortable. They come in, they know what's coming, and they're ready to spend that money. That does increase your average order value. That's ultimately what we're talking about today. And then if you just run things randomly, $10, $80, $1, $6, that's confusing as all get out to people. That just doesn't work. It's confusing. I'm a huge believer in a one price system, particularly if you're doing random polls. One price system. It will help you increase your overall average order value. And believe it or not, you guys, Daisy Lane said it earlier too. Dollar starts, lower starts help increase average order value. Auctions are built on lower starts. People who go to auctions expect lower starts. Doesn't mean that you have to cut yourself short, but it works. Have you ever ran something for $10, nobody bid on it, you drop the price to $5 and all of a sudden it bid up to $12? It's happened to all of us. You're breaking the barriers to purchase. You're making it as easy as possible for people to purchase. From Finding Nemo, it's like I'm trying to speak to me. I know it. Look, Oh, Millicent. Oh, I just wrote on my, did I just write on myself? I just put Sharpie on my chin. Whenever we start talking about shipping, you got to trust the process. It is hard. So it helps your mental space to one price. It does. It so helps your mental space. I don't have to worry about value. I don't have to worry about the price of items. It's $1. It is so easy. And then you just have to be comfortable with it and trust the process. There you go. I mean, it works, you guys. And now, I'm not saying this to convince you to do dollar starts. You need to do what's comfortable for you. And by all means, if you're brand new, don't start with dollar starts. But I do encourage you to try here and there and see how it works and see the outcome for yourself. It doesn't have to be a whole show, but try it. Try 1 or 2 here or there and see what happens. Average order value has improved weekly for me ever since I took your advice on consistent low starts. Oh, thank you, Mary. There we go. Thank you so much. All right. And then finally, the last point that I have for today, because we're getting there, intentionally upselling can feel natural. I know to a lot of people, you're like, I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to upsell you on anything. There's ways to upsell in a natural flow of things, and we're going to talk about how to do that. I've been trying lower start. There, Southern Charm says I've been trying lower starts. But a dollar start on an $80 item, I've done it. I've done it. There you go, forgotten memories. Call to action. Yep. So intentionally upselling, call to actions.
Miss Kate. Miss Taylor. Miss Kelly. It's not necessarily that you can either plan for it, or depending on how good you can read the room, you might be able to bring something like that and then entice the sale.
Now, would I go and spend $80 on a bunch of stuff, like go buy a bunch of things that were $80 to $100 that I put out, my cost, and then do it all for $1? Probably not. I did Bougie for $1. I enjoyed it. I also had a ton of build up to Bougie for $1. I love discounts. You got that giveaway.
Congratulations.
You've got to think about your sourcing limits. It's all tied together. Source, sell, ship. They're interconnected. So when I'm sourcing, I have my parameters around sourcing, and I think everything I pick up, I'm going to start this for $1. Can I get the value out of this? If it's $15, if I'm going to pay $15 for something and I look at it and say, okay, I know I'm going to start this for $1. Can I reasonably expect this to bid up to $25 or $30? If the answer in my head is no, I'm not buying it. If the answer is yes, then it's a no-brainer. It goes in my cart. Sometimes it's a little iffy. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm going to do it. It's a loss leader. Look at Battle of the Best. Battle of the Best is built on high-end items, all starting for $1. And it works. You rarely lose money on Battle of the Best. I mean, some people do, but as long as you're sourcing right, it all comes back to your sourcing decisions. I mean, and this is a point that I've made over, it can be very scary, absolutely. But this is a point I've made over and over again. Sourcing becomes very, very easy when you have parameters around your sourcing. If I know I pick it up, does it fit in a 12 by 12 box? Yes or no? I know I'm going to run it for $1. Can I expect to make money off this item realistically from the people that come in my room? What have items like this done for in the past? You know, even though vintage decor, it's like we have new things every time, there's still similar categories of items where I have a general idea how much a butter pat's going to bring. I have a general idea how much a hen on a nest is going to bring. So can I make money on it? So it's 12 by 12 box. Can I make money on it? And how difficult is it to ship, how fragile it is. So I'm looking at those parameters, and it makes it a very easy decision. So then I have zero fear, zero anxiety about starting it for $1, because when it comes time for the showtime, that decision was already made 2-3 weeks prior when I bought the item. You don't decide to run it for $1 when you're running your show. That's made when you're sourcing the item. All right, let's keep going. So intentionally upselling. How do you intentionally upsell? It doesn't have to feel pushy. You do not need to feel like a car salesman. None of us like that. I don't like feeling like a car salesman. And this is a hard one. This one took me a long time, and still sometimes it feels a little weird. And it's going to feel weird, especially at the beginning when you guys start doing it. But intentionally upselling means, and I had to write this out, it means you're paying attention to what the buyer already likes and you're offering something that makes sense. So you're not pushing something on somebody, you're offering something that makes sense according to what they've already bought or what they've already expressed an interest in. Okay? So you can upsell. What does this look like on Whatnot? Style. I know Southern Charm likes butterflies. I'll pick up butterfly stuff, not like I'm going to push it on her, but I'm like, I know she likes butterflies. I know people like Crocs. Maybe I'll pick up Crocs. If I'm selling a piece of ironstone, I can say this pairs well with this Croc over here. I can pick something up and say, oh, the item we just sold, this is the same color. It would look beautiful together. If I didn't bundle it, I can make that suggestion. So you're upselling based on something somebody's already bought. A collection. When we talk about these two items we did before, if I don't bundle these and I sell these separately and somebody buys this one and it has this gorgeous little butterfly lid on there, look at that gorgeous little butterfly, and then I get to this later on in the show, I could say, hey, you guys, remember that first butterfly? This pairs beautifully. It would make such a great collection together. So you're upselling stuff that naturally would go together without being pushy about it. We do feeler pieces, run something higher, mid-tier, doesn't get the bid up like we expect, we go to a mid-tier and try again. Exactly, yeah. I'm trying to upsell you already. Knowing your customers is super helpful. Think about things as far as use. Somebody, was it Good Grabs earlier, who said they have the jewelry and the clothing on the mannequin, so it all goes together. That's a natural upsell, right? When you're in shows like this, when I'm talking about something earlier, Forgotten Memories mentioned the language of selling. Hey, you guys, I have a PDF guide in there about the language of selling. It's really useful. It's a natural upsell. Use the opportunities when somebody asks for something in your room. Somebody buys milk glass and you're like, oh, you really like the milk glass? I've got 4 more pieces coming up. Don't go anywhere. We have some more milk glass coming up. So you're just watching what's happening and you're responding. Mathis House Shop.
Congratulations.
Mathis House Shop. Thank you for being here. Sometimes I can't read names. And congratulations on that giveaway. So you're sprinkling seeds. You're watching what they're buying, and you're just naturally saying, you're just responding to what they're already putting out there, to what the room is already telling you. That's all you're doing. If somebody asks a question and you have something in your bin that can answer that, if you have something in your buy it now, but maybe not in your auction tab, you're like, you know what? And I do this a lot. This is one thing you'll see me do. I'll have something in my auction tab, and I'm like, if you like this pattern, I have more of this in my bin. If this is your vibe, there's a whole bunch more of this in my bin. I'm upselling. I'm wanting you to go to the bin and buy it for full price versus me running it for $1 in the auction. It's just it starts to become natural when you just start connecting all those pieces together. So examples, let me give you some examples of pushy selling, and then I'm going to give you examples of helpful upselling so you can kind of see the difference. So pushy. Pushy is this. You already bought one, you might as well buy another. That's pushy, right? Some of it is the attitude that it's said with. Come on, add something else. That's pushy, right? When purchasing on Whatnot, do you pay sales tax based on their zip or yours? Theirs. The sales tax, the buyer pays sales tax based on the state and location they're buying in. You need this too, right? We don't want to say you need this too. Don't leave me with this. How many times have you heard a seller say, don't make me keep this, don't make me keep this? That's pushy, right? That makes you feel kind of icky. That's not increasing your average order value. But how about these phrases? Think about how you can incorporate phrases similar to this, how it may work with your type of items. This would pair beautifully with what you've already bought. This butterfly basket would pair beautifully with the butterfly trinket jar. Okay. This is a nice add-on if you're already building a box. These aren't pushy. These are upselling in a very natural, easy way. If you like this style, the next piece has a similar feel to it, right? If you like one swan thing, why do you think we put more than one swan item? When I'm doing an elegant and timeless show, I have 4 or 5 swan items. right? Somebody buys one Swan item. Hey, you like the milk glass Swan? Check out this crystal Swan. This one's even cooler. It's a natural upsell to something somebody's already bought a Swan. We know there's some interest. Let's go ahead and just play on that interest a little bit more. It's a flow, exactly. How about this can complete the set, or this would make the first piece a little bit more giftable. Customers know when we know and appreciate them. Exactly, 100%, Mary. Here's the perfect example, y'all, especially for my women out there, okay? You go and get your hair cut, styled, it's all pretty. What happens when you go to the checkout? Your hairstylist would say, you need this shampoo. And you're like, oh, that's okay. I'm not going to spend $60 on your shampoo today. Or if your hairstylist says, if you use this shampoo, it'll help recreate the style for you at home in the exact same way. It's the same upsell, same product, sold to you in two different ways. I'm more likely to buy the shampoo when they say, you can recreate this style at home with this product here. This mousse helps you create those same curls that I just put in your hair. Versus, this is the mousse you need. So think about your products and how you can naturally encourage us based on what they're already buying. When Whatnot turns over all to seller for shipping and customer service, are they still paying state tax for seller? Yes, Whatnot will always handle the sales tax. There is no way, it would be way too confusing for individual sellers to handle all of the various sales tax reporting requirements throughout all of the states. So Whatnot will definitely keep handling that. Good luck, your hair. Yeah, my hair never looks like, it will never look like it does when I go and get it done. Never. And here's the other thing. This is what Crystal hit on earlier. So Crystal was right on point when she said put items in your bin. Having items in your bin can help. So think about small jewelry, depending on what you sell, obviously, having complementary items in your bin to the things they're already buying. Jewelry, lightweight decor, things that are easy to add to boxes. We're trying to stay away from the heavy, big pieces in the bin because we want it to be easy for them to add. Lightweight decor, postcards, holiday items, small handmade items, low-cost collectibles, accessories, ephemera. Those type of things in bins are super easy to help increase your average order value because they're really quick, easy add-ons for people to throw in the box. If somebody's already spent $20 and then they're going to add on another $3 or $4 item from your bin, that's a no-brainer, right? Vault of Interesting, congratulations on that giveaway.
Congratulations.
So to kind of pull all of this together and kind of wrap up all those thoughts we just talked about, increasing your live sale is really about increasing the quality of the buying experience. It's not about being pushy. It's about increasing the value the buyer sees in it, which is the quality of the whole experience you're having. We talked about presentation. We talked about how we talk about things, how the lighting is, how we bundle things together. You want to make the most out of your shipping price that you're paying. It's not about pressure. It's never about guilt, and it's not about begging for sales. All three of those things are complete turnoffs. None of those will ever increase your average order value. It is about what it is about. Summing up into a few clear points on increasing your average order value, helping buyers see the value in the item through your presentation, through the bundling, through all the ways that they're experiencing it in your show. Presenting items clearly, trust, building the trust that takes time, planning your show flow, offering natural add-ons, and creating a better shopping experience overall, removing as many of the barriers to buying that you can remove. All of those things together and mixing that will, if you focus on it, will absolutely increase your average order value. Thank you guys for your purchases from the bin. If you bought anything, check your DMs. My husband's trying to message you to make sure you get whatever you purchased. Here's the other thing. What you focus on, what you measure, improves. If you want your average order to improve, figure out what it is, look at your past few shows, and start to take some of all these different concepts and figure out, what can I bundle? How can I present this better? How can I talk about this item differently? And really focus on it. If you put laser focus on your average order value, I would bet a month's Whatnot earnings that at the end of that month, if you were really committed to it, your average order value will increase. We did this in the CEO challenge. We had a couple of people pick average order value of what they want. That was their metric that they wanted to improve. And every single one of them improved their average order value because they focused on it. What we focus on, what we put our time and effort into, improves and increases. So it's not as difficult as we think it is. Now, is it an overnight? Is it going to happen like that? Probably not. It takes a little bit of time. I've been working on this new strategy for about 6 months, and I'm really now starting to see fruits of that labor. But it takes time. You're designing that whole experience. And with that, we're going to let this giveaway run out. We're going to wrap it up here. If you have any final questions, tonight, we're going to be back on at 7. We're going to be doing the tax side of it tonight. We're going to be talking about bundles, discounts, and reporting your revenue correctly. So we're going to look at the accounting kind of tax side of that tonight on bundling and discounts and reporting revenue. But before we go, I'm going to pull this giveaway winner. So if you're not in it, here's your chance. 3, 2, 1. We're drawing the winner. I love discounts. That's 2 for you today.
Congratulations.
Good luck, Jennifer. Absolutely wishing you good luck. Did you want to say something before I close?
I was going to say that was a nice trick.
All right, so we always close with our CEO affirmation. So our affirmation for today is, I increase order value through strategy and report bundled income clearly and consistently. Kelly, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to read this one more time. Did it, Mary? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I increase order value through strategy and report bundled income clearly and consistently. Ducks in the chat when we raid. Thank you, Forgotten Memories, for reminding me. And I don't know who we're going to raid. We're going to go find somebody right now. Let's see. Let's go do... Wow. Okay, I don't know who this person is. They're doing a community show. This is Two Hearts Trading. I have no idea who this person is, so we're going to go meet a new friend in community. Ducks in the chat. We will see you all later. Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend.